So this last Sunday, we went through the next round of selecting who are going to be our next elders and deacons for formal leadership within the church. And there was a moment where I remember before we went through the process and I reminded everyone, including me, the notion that there is no they. There's no vague, ominous outside group, that a church is only led by its people, right? That's how a church is supposed to be structured, not a top-down organization where someone tells you what to do and when to march, but a group of people trying to live their life together while we all follow Jesus and become people who do what he did and say what he said. That's what a church should be. And it reminds me of the hope I find in many ways in those moments. Because sometimes we think of churches as big and we have staff and we have all these things and these people make decisions and do all this stuff. But that's missing the point. A church is people, you and I coming together, trying to live out our faith with one another. It's not a Sunday morning service, though we do that. It's not involving staff, though we have those. It is people trying to live out our faith one another. It reminds me of a section from the book of Ephesians in chapter 4, starting in verse 11, where it says, "So Christ himself gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors, and the teachers to equip the people for the works of service so that the body of Christ may be built up until we all reach unity in faith and in the knowledge of the Son of God and become mature." And that's actually the thing that I find affirming, that it isn't the job of a staff member or a leadership to do the work. The job of a staff member or any kind of church leadership is to equip the saints for ministry, as another translation puts it. The job is to lean into relationships and invest in one another as we discern this thing together. And it's what I cannot let go of this present week. I'm excited about the next round of elders and deacons who said they're willing to serve, and I'm excited for what it means for you and I. It's a temptation in many ways that actually runs countercultural to a lot of the things in where our culture and society sits. Because we live in this room where if we don't like what someone says, we're going to quit on them, we're going to slide out, we'll ghost, we don't respond, and we wait for the other person to notice our absence. Or we'll post passive-aggressive comments about them on Facebook, or we'll snip with our friends about how we feel. But a church isn't supposed to be that. A church is supposed to be people that intentionally invest in community, that when we disagree, because we will disagree, that we do so with grace and dignity and love and still stand for the things that we think have integrity and purpose, right? That's what we're supposed to do. And when the next round of leaders say, "I'm willing to serve if selected," that's what I hear people do, leaning into a relationship in a culture that often wants to just lean out and take care of myself. And so as we function as the church beyond the building during our week and during our days with the ups and downs and things that come, I want to remind you of that. What it means for us to be the church is that we lean into relationships and challenges in the places where we disagree. We do it with dignity and grace and love, but we still disagree. We don't just lean out. We don't gossip amongst our friends. We don't chit-chat with people in the corner. We lean into the places where things are hard, and that's where we see Christ come and shine through, and we see the church be what it longs to become. So that is my hope and prayer for you and for me and for all of us in this next season. Grace and peace, friends. Have a good week.